Let's get into the Bullion
Okay.
brand and the story, because this is so powerful, not only for you to jump into a market that may seem saturated to connoisseurs.
I was at that point where I was starting to get a lot of buzz around my name from being a chef. And so I didn't want to take the risk of opening my own restaurant just because I've opened and closed a lot of other people's restaurants and saw the that backbreaking, like I put my life savings into this and it didn't work. So I was looking for something low risk, low entry, but has a huge upside and kind of a lane that I could penetrate with, my culinary thing, but also offering or pairing with something else. So I was being overseas. I got really into Scotch, bourbon, whiskey, spirits in general, even different wines and things like that.
Sure.
So had the opportunity to study at the Milk and Honey Distillery in Tel Aviv, which is one of the oldest distilleries. So they gave me a crash course into, bourbon's made from this, because I didn't know. I just like to drink it. So,
Right.
I said, so it's only made with corn, barley, and rye. That's it. Then you get into more of the wood, the smoke levels and things like that.
Sure.
But those ingredients very parallel to cooking in the process too.
Yeah.
So distilling is very parallel and compared to if I were making a consommé, a stock, a broth, anything like a soup even.
Interesting.
So I was like, okay. Then they were explaining why this tastes good. Like, well, you have sweet, smoke, vanilla, caramel, citrus. I'm like, yeah, it's the same thing we do in culinary too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so the dots started to connect where I can take the following that I gained from being a chef and say, Bullion Bourbon by Chef Danny Bullock. And it was like, oh, okay, well, we know him as a chef. Let's try this next thing out.
Yeah.
And it was so it was low entry, low risk, big upside.
Now, starting a brand from scratch, it helps that you have credibility, right? You didn't decide to go launch a car brand as a chef. Like, bourbon makes sense when it comes to the culinary experience. And not only do you have the traditional education and upbringing on how to take raw ingredients and craft it into a beautiful end product.
Correct.
It makes sense that bourbon aligns, and plus your passions, right? Like, people know that you're a cigar guy, you're a well-refined gentleman, and a glass of bourbon or a cocktail just fits perfectly with that brand.